Hey guys, welcome to this session by Great Learning. My name is Anirudh Rao and I hope all of you all are having a fabulous day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all to this session called as the Introduction to Cloud Computing. Now, this is going to be our live session. We're going to have a discussion about cloud computing, and of course, it's a very fascinating domain. So, we're going to check out a lot that there is to know. But then, guys, before we go on to begin, can you head to the comment section? Can you head to the chat box and type in a quick yes if you can hear me fine, and of course if you can see my video fine, right? Just head to the comment section, just type in a little yes so that I am aware that you guys are the stream is fine for all of you all. Right, guys, while you go on to type yes in the comment section, I am monitoring all of your comments using my mobile phone. So as always, this is going to be a highly interactive session, so let's make sure to put down all of the questions that we have, anything related to cloud computing and all of that. Make sure you put your comments down and I'll be more than happy to answer them, right? So guys, I'm still waiting for the confirmation from you all so we can actually go on to begin the session. So head to the comment section, head to the chat box and just type in a quick yes. Alright. Alright, so I have a lot of people saying yes. Kunal, Ashutosh, Rajnandini, Sadhana Sharma. All right, perfect, guys. A lot of people are putting the messages down. I am glad all of you all have joined us on this session. But then, guys, before we go on to check the agenda, let me take a minute of your time to guide you about this wonderful venture we have here at Great Learning called as Great Learning Academy. Now, I'm sure all of you guys would love to learn new things quickly, to pick up on new skills, and of course, look out for a way that you can showcase this to your employer as well, right? Now, see, what we've done here at Great Learning Academy is we are giving you 200 plus courses absolutely free of cost for you to learn. Now, the main advantage that you get here at Great Learning Academy is that you can enroll into all of these courses for free, right? We have 200 plus courses. You can enroll into all of them if you choose to. Now, it's not only about enrolling, you get to learn, you get to understand the concept that you're learning in three various levels: the beginner level, the intermediate level, and the advanced level as well. Right now, all of this, and the biggest advantage here is you get a certificate of completion as well. So not only does it increase your knowledge, it also gives you a certificate of completion that you definitely can put on your resume, showcase to all the people that who are willing to hire you, and a lot more. Right now, you can see all the domains that we have here on the left side. Everything from data science, cloud computing, big data, digital marketing. We have a lot of these, right? Now here itself, you can see that this is a beginner's course, cloud foundations course. Then you have an intermediate course, you have an advanced course as well, right? So let me click on one of these things. Right, perfect. Now we are at the Cloud Foundations course. This is a beginner course, and again, all of these courses, ladies and gentlemen, that you see on Great Learning Academy is absolutely free of cost. Now this course is around 2 hours worth of content that you can use to learn on. You get to find out about the course, all the skills covered, the entire syllabus that you're going to be learning, and of course, the fantastic certificate of completion, which will add a lot of value to your LinkedIn profile, your resume, and whatnot. Right, perfect. And when you take a look at this, it says enroll for free, and as you can see, we have over 38,000 people who are enrolled actively into this course as well. Now that should definitely speak volumes about what we are trying to achieve here, right? As you can see, we have 700,000 plus learners coming in from 140 different countries. We have 1,000 plus hours of learning content and 3 million plus monthly views on everything that you're seeing on your screen right now, right? Perfect. As you scroll down, you'll take a look at all the upcoming live sessions that we have planned for you guys on the YouTube platform. And hey, if you are a person who's looking for a job, we have a completely in-depth job prep section which consists of all these free live courses which will train you on soft skills, aptitude, tech interviews, and a lot of different things. So if you're a person who's looking for a job and you're looking for a little help on that aspect as well, we have an amazing part of Great Learning Academy that will help you. Then of course you keep asking us like, what's the easiest way to reach Great Learning Academy? Can we use an application or something like that? Of course you can. We have the Great Learning app, which is available both on the Android Play Store and of course the Apple App Store as well. So you can reach us from your browsers, on your mobiles, on your PCs, laptops, wherever it is convenient for you guys to learn. You can absolutely do that, right? So how amazing is this? For all you dear viewers who have joined in on this session, I can promise you that there is something here that will add a lot of value to your knowledge, right? A concept which you might not know, a topic which you are very much interested in, and all of that. And all these are short courses as well, 1 hours, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, which you can spend and get a certificate absolutely free of cost. So I believe that should be hugely advantageous to all of you all, right guys? Now, an important thing that we have to discuss, what we're going to cover in this particular session to start out with, has to be the agenda of the session, right? Now, what are we going to even look at in this 1 hour session? So to start out with, we definitely are going to take an approach to understand what cloud computing is in its most basic sense, right? So you have to know you have to understand. Okay, so I've been getting a comment saying picture is not clear, it's blur. Is there anyone else who's facing this issue? Guys, head to the comment section and let me know if you can see my screen fine, right? No, one person just reported that the picture is not clear. Make sure your internet is decent enough to handle the streaming of live videos, right? Perfect. Alright guys, so as I was talking about, we're going to start out by understanding what cloud computing is. Once you know all of that, you have to take a look at the models that we have today which make up the world of cloud computing, right? There are so many things about this domain which is absolutely fascinating. We're going to take a look at all of that, and after you've understood all of this, it becomes very, very important that you understand why cloud computing itself is considered as the future, right? It becomes very important for you to understand where we are with the domain, where we are going and all of that. And of course, after which we're going to take a look and understand everything there is to know about the popular applications, some fascinating applications out there, a career. I'm sure all of you guys are tuned in, especially to an introductory session like this. All of you all are very curious, right? Perfect. So we're going to take a look at the career aspects. We're going to take a look at specialization. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you're sticking till the end of the session with me. I'm going to guide you on how you guys can go from being a beginner all the way to a complete expert, right? Perfect. So guys, I hope the agenda was clear for all of you all. So for the person Rajnandini Rajput asking the question saying what is the syllabus of this course, well, in this particular session, right, this is a live session that you're tuned into, Rajnandini, welcome. You can take a look at the agenda as we've just discussed, right? Perfect. So guys, the first question we have to answer is, what is cloud computing? Now, to be very honest with you, you have used cloud computing for a really long time now. Even though it seems like cloud computing is sort of like the newest thing, you've actually been using it a long time. Now, whenever you used to send emails with attachments or something, whenever you upload your favorite pictures, on Google Drive, on any other cloud storage as it's called, or let's say, you're sitting in your office, you're trying to back up some of the office work into a server, right? Or even though it so happens that maybe you're sitting at one corner of the globe where you're trying to execute like a programming piece of code or something like that, right? Now all of these or some of these you might have definitely been doing, and all of these are considered to be in the domain, in the aspects, in the lens of what cloud computing means, right? So what are we doing with cloud computing? Let me try to put it in as simple terms as possible, guys. Now, with cloud computing, what we're trying to do is we're trying to, have internet as our medium where we've connected, two computers, let's say, and we're trying to make sure that one computer can help the other one in terms of giving it its storage, in terms of making it use its computational powers and all of that. So this delivery through internet, where you can have computing power at the, edge of your fingertips, you can have a lot of storage and all of these, right? This is what makes, the world that we call as cloud computing. Now everywhere you see, it's almost like this common term, right? Everywhere you find a lot of clouds, usually around whenever you're traveling or something. In this particular case, these clouds directly reference to the amount of servers which goes into making a huge network, right? That's how usually the interconnectedness gave this domain the name cloud computing. Perfect. I hope I was clear with that point. Now, ladies and gentlemen, since a lot of you are here, make sure you subscribe to the Great Learning YouTube channel and hit that bell icon. And of course, do take a second to like the video. We would highly appreciate it if you like the video. We genuinely will know that you guys are picking up on this video, using it to learn and all that, right? So, guys, take a minute. Just head to the comment section, and of course, keep coming. Keep putting all of your questions in. share, and at the same time do like the video. Alright, perfect. Now, to answer a very important question is, why should we require cloud computing in today's world? What is the need of cloud computing, right? Well, one thing you definitely have to look at is the amount of data that we have gone to generate in the recent years, right? Now, the entire amount of RAM which took humans to the moon, right? So there was this craft which took humans to the moon. That had somewhere the amount of RAM that entire spaceship had was like 0.0014 MB or something. So that was like not even 0.01 MB, it was 0.001 MB. Right now, take a look at your phones. I'm sure a lot of you people watching this on your laptops or phones have like what 8 gigabytes worth of RAM, 10, 12 gigabytes, 16 gigabytes, even 64 gigabytes of RAM. Right, so you need this world today that we have when we're generating this much data to be able to process it as well. Right now, what happens in the case of cloud computing is it is like this huge bucket where you can just put your data into, pick it up as and when you require, use the if there are like computers sitting in the bucket, you can use its power for your organization. So the complete capability to take a startup, to take let's say a mid-tier company or even a multinational corporation and say, hey, you don't have to have any servers in your office anymore. You can move all of this to the cloud computing platform. All you require is an internet connection and you can run your entire company where your data is sitting in servers maybe halfway around the globe, right? So you could do this. This is why cloud computing is even getting to such a stage where everyone wants it now, right? That's an important point. The next thing is that when you have easy access, which is not expensive, right? Cheap access to good data storage, efficient processing power, and all of these things, it becomes vital that you always explore all of this. Now, as an individual, as a company, you guys will be looking forward to making sure that, you keep your expenses as minimal as possible. Right now, buying a new computer, forget a server, this can get very, very expensive, to be honest with you all. PC parts, the computer parts are not cheap. Then eventually, even after buying it, you have to maintain it, right? Electronic components heat up a lot, so you always have to work on actively cooling them. And if your cooling system fails, your server crashes, all of these things are involved. Now you can remove all of this headache from an organization and says, hey, don't worry, your data is safe. Here's good compute methodologies, computing power for you. Use it, and you just pay for the amount that you use. Right? How cool is this? Right, guys? When you take a look at the understanding of it, it's like, do you want to use a cloud server machine for 15 minutes? Then you only pay for the 15 minutes of you how much you've used. They check the resources, so resources are tracked, and you can pay by the resources as well. So that's one very important thing, and that it is just this general fact that you can do everything on the cloud. Now, when you think about it, right, there was only a time when you could only probably store photos or videos on the cloud and you're using only that. Nowadays, the applications it's absolutely fantastic. You can sit in your house and probably control maybe a light bulb or something which is in the office, or let's say you're traveling, you're on an international tour, you forgot to turn off the lights or the TV or something at your house. You can just connect to the internet and just talk to all the devices that are sitting in your house, and you could actually turn them off. How cool is this, right? That's an application of what we call IoT, or the Internet of Things as well. So, these 4 or 5 reasons that I just told you, right? This is just, we're starting to uncover the advantages of cloud computing, because there's millions and millions of advantages. We can go on to talk about it for a while, but I think you guys get the point now, right? But then, even if you required a little more understanding of how the world was before, the advent of cloud computing, before everyone was jumping into the world of cloud computing, let us go back a little. Let's go back like around 70 years, right? Now, when you are taking a look at the 1960s, it was mostly with these mainframe machines which sort of were giving rise to powerful computing methodologies. Of course, considering all the things that they had in their days, right? I mean, in the 1960s itself, NASA put humans on the moon, so that was a very important thing. Now, as years developed, it so happened in the 1970s that internet was invented, right? It was called ARPANET at the starting. It was mostly used for military communications and all of that, but it did get a head start in the 1970s. In the 1980s, people started realizing the use of virtual machines. They started to understand that, hey, you can get a machine and you can, what do you call it, you can get it to behave like another machine itself. Today the virtual machines that we use, right, usually have Windows desktops and we run Linux on top of it, or we have Linux as the base, we run Windows on top of it. So it's like two different things in the same console, and one of it is real and the other one is being emulated inside it, right? That's the concept out here. This was starting to develop. People got idea of it in the 1980s. And what happened in the 1990s? Well, all of you all know the world of software engineering, the world of the internet and the world wide web just took over the entire world, right? Everyone, during the start of the 2000s, or let's say mid 2000s, wanted to just be connected to the cloud. Everyone just wanted to be connected to each other. Now when you say people are being connected to each other, right, so when you're sending out WhatsApp messages and all of that, your message is going to a server and the server is pushing the message to the other person that you're willing to talk to. It's not like you guys have a direct communication across the entire entire globe, right? That is what cloud computing slowly started coming into the picture. You could start sending emails and you could send attachment with those emails, so you sending an electronic document from your house would go anywhere across the world as it required, right? So that's a fascinating thing which everyone wanted to do. And then when social media came about, of course everyone wanted to use social media, right? Guys, you head to the comment section and you tell me what all social media that you guys will use, right? I'm sure you guys will be looking forward to using apps like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, all of these popular things which people these days use, right? So even in these concepts there is cloud computing as well. And the world of how we were before cloud computing, and when we look at cloud computing these days and the amount of effect it has had on our generation, right, it's amazing. It's so much. So what created the need for all of this? Why did cloud computing even more than that, how did people even realize that cloud computing is what is going to help us immensely as a business, right? Now, when you're taking a look at that, when you're trying to understand a company's perspective of what was the need of cloud computing, why did people invest into this technology, I think even in today's terms, especially in today's terms, it's a very important thing to discuss about. There are three important points, right? We're going to discuss about strategy, we're going to discuss about operational efficiency, and we're going to take a look at flexibility as well. Now, these 3 points are very important. Let us cover them one by one. Perfect. Now, the need for cloud computing in the terms of strategy was that it added so much value to the company itself. Now, see, what used to happen is even the virtual meetings that we have today, right, all of this are powered based on the computing power and the storage methodologies of cloud computing itself. So whenever you guys go on to use meeting applications, whatever, Google Meet, the other popular ones, the Zoom, Skype, whatever it is, right? So when you go on to use this, you're literally having to do 90% of the things that you would have done if you guys were face to face. You're getting meetings done, you're talking, you're sharing your screen, you're showing your work, you're discussing a lot more things. So it so happened when people conducted surveys that 5 times more collaboration was actually happening even without people having to meet. And they realized that, right? I mean, if two companies are sitting, one company is sitting in India and the other company is sitting in US, and if these guys have to work, it is not an everyday thing that they keep flying back and forth, right? That was a very, very important need for cloud computing. The second thing when you're talking about is that maintaining the software, maintaining this architect, maintaining the system is not your headache. The person who's providing the cloud computing thing is taking care of all of this. At the end of the day, whatever softwares that you use in the cloud computing domain, right, ladies and gentlemen, it is all going to be the latest ones, right? Perfect, guys. Head to the comment section and put your comments coming. So I just want to see a lot of comments here. Guys, I'm sure you guys have questions in this particular domain, so go on to ask them, right? Perfect. Now, to talk about the third most important point in the aspect of strategy is you have to understand that businesses have the time now that they don't have to worry about software updates, all of these things, maintaining servers and all of that. So they can spend a good amount of time to actually work on things which need their attention, something related to building logic or something like that. So having your company give more time to something that's required, that's a necessity, is a very important thing, right? Perfect. And one more thing, in terms of teaching people, in terms of using company money, and in terms of just getting return on investment, right? So in the case of cloud computing, you can pick up one or two services, which is the only thing that you'll have to require. Maybe you require a good amount of data storage, maybe you require a backup service, or maybe you require to use a powerful computer there so that you can perform some complex math operations or something like that, right? You would only pay for that much. You're not paying for the entire thing, the entire platform. What you use, you only pay for that, right? So in terms of strategy, that was a beautiful point. The next point that we have to take a look at is operational efficiency. Now, see, operational efficiency talks about, again, saving money on the whole, right? With cloud computing, it so happened that you could cut so many costs down, right? So, for example, you're going to require servers. They are extremely expensive. When you already have servers, you have to cool them. To cool them, again, it takes a lot of power. It takes a lot of investment to invest in like a room, building full of air conditioning and all of that. And you have to keep maintaining the servers, maintaining the air conditioning. You have to pay the electricity bill. You have to pay people to maintain, right? All of this is a cost to the company, and with cloud computing you can sort of dissolve down into not having to spend for any of these, right? So that's an important thing. The next thing is that when you have your client data and all of that, you have to be very careful that your data is not hacked into, or your client's data is not leaked and all of that. So in that particular case, having the latest and the greatest security methodologies is something which definitely everyone will be looking forward to, right? In that case, if the data is physically sitting in someone else's server, it is now their responsibility that they make sure that your data is safe, right? So another big headache of you is not there anymore, right? And the third thing, if you stay near maybe like maybe the sea or something, if you stay near the coast, or if you stay in an earthquake prone area, you might always be worried about your data, right? Like if there's a huge earthquake, you might lose the drives physically, it might damage them, data can be unrecoverable and all of that. This is another headache which cloud computing takes away, right? So your data is sitting in someone else's server, and they definitely will be planning on all of these disaster recovery methodologies in case, even if there's a flood that happens, even if there's a earthquake that happens, they will do everything in their power to make sure your data is safe, right? That's usually a guarantee. That is why these companies go on to be so popular as they are today, right? Perfect. The last point is very, very important here. The last point talks about how you can access anything that is stored anywhere with just a click of your mouse, or maybe just typing it out on your touchscreen mobile phone, right? It's literally like you can be connected to the other end of the world to see what's happening there in real time as well. Probably someone sitting in Antarctica, or someone sitting in the Arctic Circle, they're doing some science experiments, you're sitting somewhere back home. You can literally talk to them without having to have like a direct wire or a connection or something like that. That's the power of internet brought to you by the domain of cloud computing, right? Perfect. Now, point number three. Point number three talks about flexibility. Flexibility is very, very important for the domain of cloud computing, right? Because as a company, sometimes you will require customized solutions. It is not like your company can be solved as one single problem, right? Whenever you're opening a company, you'll have 10 different things for which you'll require 10 different types of people, resources who are proficient in their own domains and all of that. So even in this particular case, when you're trying to provide a solution using the cloud, you have the complete capability to say, hey, I only want I'm trying to provide these kinds of solution, I only want these services, I'll only pay for that, right? Perfect. That was possible. And of course, whenever you're trying to take a look at these workload demands in your office, right? So sometimes you might have a lot of work, sometimes you may not have work, right? So to balance that kind of an inefficiency, a cloud computing entity that's sitting on the other end will ensure, a provider there will ensure that you have the best fit. You are only paying for the resources that you're using and all of that. That's a huge advantage. The third thing is you can have a flexible cloud as well. You can have a hybrid model in a way where maybe some of your data is stored in your on-premise server, but the rest of your organization works using the cloud as well. So there's so many things in terms of development there which will help you run a company as you want it. It is not like compulsorily you have to put the data there to use their platform, right? Nothing like that. And the last point is that whenever your company grows, right, as a person who's working in a startup company, or maybe even a mid-tier company, or let's say even an MNC too. So when your product is growing, maybe today you're catering to 10 clients, and tomorrow you might have to cater to like what, 1,000 people, right? Everyone realize you're really good and they're coming to you, so you have to teach all these new people to do stuff or something like that. In that particular case, what happens is that these new 1,000 people who have come up will require resources from your same server which was handling 10 people. In the case of cloud computing, as soon as the cloud computing platform sees that you have 1,000 users, it has the capability to automatically increase the capacity and the power of the servers to make sure that not anyone, not one person is waiting. Everyone gets access to whatever it is that you're trying to provide, data using that server, right? That is a very, very, very important flexibility. As and when the companies grow, you don't have to throw your old computer out to keep buying a new one every now and then, a server as well, right? Servers are very expensive. So in that particular case, you don't have to worry about small things anymore and wondering that what happens if the company grows. Well, if the company grows these days, the cloud computing platform, the stuff allocated to them, the services allocated to them will also grow, making sure it feels like it's a small company again. So you can grow as much as you want, and the cloud computing platforms today have the power to handle it, right? Perfect. Now, to talk about a very important aspect, guys, this is cloud computing models, right? Now, there are three important models, and I'm sure you guys have heard of. It's called infrastructure as a service, or IaaS. It's called platform as a service, or also called as PaaS, and then it's called as then we have the third one, which is the software as a service. It's also called as SaaS. Now, you might have heard of one of these more types of models, right? So, guys, you head to the comment section and you guys type in and let me know if you have actually heard IaaS, PaaS and SaaS. Head to the comment section, let me know while I quickly get a gulp of water. Right. Perfect. Now I'm going to tell you what each of these mean, right? See, now as a cloud computing platform like maybe AWS, Microsoft Azure, or the Google Cloud Platform, what they are trying to do is ensuring that you guys get to use the services that they are providing, right? Now, as a company, you will have to manage some things, and as a cloud computing platform, they will manage something, right? That is exactly what you see on your screen. Now, let us compare what infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service, means like at the end of the day for you, right? I'll keep it in a very simple explanation, so follow me. Now, as I told you, there are things which are managed by you and things which the cloud provider manages. In the case of IaaS or IaaS or infrastructure as a service, what happens is that all the applications that are running on the on the cloud platform, all the data that's going on, all the operating systems you have to maintain, and all these APIs and all of these middleware software that you're going to be using, you will manage as a company. But what the cloud will aim to do is they will handle everything on your server. So whatever data it is, how you store it, the way it's retrieved, the way it's backed, the way networking works, the way your applications connect to the servers, connect to the data, you connecting to the servers, virtualization as and when power required and all of that, right? So all of this is the headache of the cloud provider. So the company right now went from physically not having a headache of having the server at their office all the way to making sure that even in the cloud platform, right, virtually you can make sure your cloud provider will manage a lot of things for you. That is what IaaS is. Now this is if you can observe, there's 4 or 5 things that the user manages, and there's 4 or 5 things that the cloud manages as well. But when you take a look at platform as a service, you give even more tasks for the cloud provider to maintain. So the user in this particular case has to take care of their applications and their data. That is it. Now they're getting an entire platform. They say, hey, you have to take care of your application. If you take care of your data, everything else that is needed to run your company, we will do it, right? How cool is that? So an entire platform, taking the power of AWS or like Microsoft Azure or something, you get to use their runtime, their own operating systems. They take care of the servers, the storage, the network, the virtualization, the rapid scaling, auto scaling. Everything is taken care by them. All you have to worry about is your applications and data. Rest all headache is absolutely not needed, right? How amazing is this? How cool is this, right? In the case of platform as a service. And the next one, when you're taking a look at it, is software as a service. Software as a service, I think SaaS is hugely advantageous. And one aspect is that they manage everything. So even when you go back to something like this, infrastructure as a service, the user managed so many things, the cloud managed so many things, right? Now, in the case of software as a service, all of that just goes away. It literally is that the cloud provider will handle everything, right from your applications and data all the way to virtualization. Right now, if you combine everything you see on this particular list on your screen right now, it is literally all of this managed by the cloud. So guys, this is the basic difference that exists between using an infrastructure as a service, or using a platform as a service, or completely using a software as a service, which takes care of absolutely everything there is, right? So I hope all of you were clear with these particular models as well. So Ravi Aita says IaaS provides the servers and the storage. You are absolutely right. You have to just work on your applications, a little bit of networking side as well, and all of that. Gaurav Agrawal says, sir, give real life examples of these three models. Now, Gaurav, these three models that I just told you, right? These are literally used everywhere. For example, in the case of Google Photos or any of these applications which use like a backup service, right? At the end of the day, you just maintain your data. You just maintain an application which will give the photos whenever I ask for it on my mobile application. But everything else, how it is stored, where it is stored, based on what system of storage it is, and all of those things are managed by the platform, right? Of course, in the case of Google, it's going to be Google Cloud Platform, or GCP as it's called, right? Usually in the case of software as a service, you can actually take a look at entire companies which make use of software as a service. They just want to make sure that everything at their end of the side is only the technological aspect of things, but everything else, the cloud manages that. So I hope that answered your question, Gaurav. Perfect. So the next thing that we have to take a look at is to understand what is new, what is happening in the domain of cloud computing, right? There's a million things which are always trending in this domain. Now, I thought there are three important things that we have to talk about. One is quantum computing, next is PaaS, and of course IoT as well. Now, in the age of quantum computing, right, even if you're not talking quantum computing, right from 1970 to today, the amount of computing you have at this convenient, now this small piece of device in my hand is probably a couple of million times more powerful than the entire rocket, the spaceship that took humans to the moon, right? So in the advent of quantum computing, the scientists are finding out even more quicker methods to handle a lot more tasks. So you're trying to even find more efficiency in an already existing process which is sort of efficient there. So in quantum computing, that's what everyone's doing. They are just trying to rapidly expand the computing power in a way which the world has never seen, and it's working. They're doing it, right? So that is definitely going to be used in the domain of cloud computing in a very huge way. And then when you're taking a look at PaaS, now PaaS has become very popular because platform as a service at the end of the day is ensuring that you just have to maintain your applications and your data, correct? That's what we saw. Everything else is the headache of the cloud, and that in the end of the day, as a person who is owning a company or something, you will only be worried about your application. You'll only be worried about the data that supports the application. That is it. Everything else the cloud provider manages. Amazing, right? Of course, you'll be paying for it, but it just makes sure that you have your own time to do a lot of other things too. That is getting extremely popular in today's world. That's the advantage. And then when we take a look at the world of IoT, right, the example that I gave you, you may be going on an international tour or something, and maybe you've come to the airport, you realize that there was a light switch which was on, you turned on your coffee maker, your oven or something which you forgot to turn off. So you can literally sit there, look at an application on your phone, tap a button, and it turns the switch off, right? It makes sure that the electrical contact is cut off for the actual device. It may be a light, it might be a fan, it might be an air conditioner or something like that. You can do it, even though you're probably sitting 50-60 kilometers away. It's not just 50 kilometers away. Even if you're sitting 25,000 kilometers away, if you have an active internet connection, you can do all of these things. You can take a look at the wireless camera that is sitting in your house. Maybe if you're worried about safety and all of that, you have a CCTV installed. You can actually monitor it sitting on the other side of the globe live. You can see what's going on in that camera right then and there, to the power of computing, to using the power of cloud computing, right? So that's a very important thing. Kashyap Pandu says, nano computing too, sir. Of course, Kashyap, nano computing, all of these, whenever you use these terms, quantum, whenever you use these terms, nano, there's always research going on in all of these different things, right? So, Rajnandini asks, saying, what is IoT? I just gave you an example, Rajnandini. That is exactly what IoT means, right? Perfect. The next point that we have to check out is why cloud computing is considered to be the future. Now, all of you all who are joined in on this introductory session, guys, I'm sure every one of you are curious about why this domain is so big, right? If you're watching this video, I'm sure you're interested in the domain. You might be looking forward to learning the domain. You might be looking for a job and all of that, right? So you need to know you need to know more about the domain if you're investing your precious time in this. So let me talk to you about the future for a bit. When you're taking a look at the cloud computing market worldwide right now, like all the money that's invested in this particular domain, it is somewhere around $310 billion. That is the amount it's going to hit in the year 2021. Now we're almost like 3 months into the year. We just completed 2 full months, and the numbers are just growing rapidly, right? Because when you take a look at it, in 2019, let's say 2020. In 2020, it was $40 billion less than 310, and in 2019, it was $90 billion less than 310. So at the end of the day, in just 2 years, right, it has grown somewhere around $130 billion. Now, guys, I'm talking about billions of dollars here, and if you see such a steady growth from 1 year to the other, right, literally it's doubling and tripling. Now, it just shows how fascinating that this new domain is, right? It's not new as in like, everyone is looking into it new. Now that it's trending, everyone definitely understands the power of the domain itself. So there is always a fantastic steady growth. If you're a person who's looking forward to jobs, what does it mean for you? Well, it means that you definitely can expect a lot of jobs, thousands and thousands of jobs. You can definitely expect a very, very good salary, because working in a cloud computing domain takes a good amount of knowledge, and you will have to require the skills to work with as well, right? So the most important reason of why it's the future, I think, is right now when you look at it, like a lot of workforce is working from home, people are learning from home, schools, colleges, all of that is going on right from home, right? So, well, you are again using apps which are completely powered by cloud computing. So everyone knows that going ahead, this becomes a compulsory requirement, right? Even before it was compulsory, and now we just reinforce the fact that says, hey, cloud computing is a fantastic domain and it has a really, really bright future, right? Now, why is it considered to be the future when you take a look at it from another aspect? One thing is, you can literally do anything you want in the entire world on the cloud. You can sit, and whenever you go, guys, use your web browsers for shopping as well, right? You mostly are using a cloud computing platform there to a certain degree as well. Whenever you guys are going to learn something online, when you're watching a live session right now, you're using the power of cloud computing. Whenever you're shopping, whenever you go on to learn something new, or even in the case it so happens that you want to sit and do programming just using the internet, right? Now, for everyone who would be doing programming, I'm sure you guys know, you have to install the programming language, you have to install a user interface for it, you have to set up a lot of things. So you have to do a lot of things in the software which make it complicated. Nowadays, it is so simple to run a piece of code. Is you just open a URL in the browser, you type your code, hit a play button, and you're done, right? We're going to discuss about that in a second as well. But knowing that whatever it is, you want to store photos, you want to use the most powerful computer for a while, all of this is absolutely possible in this domain, right? The third thing, why companies? Now let us look at it in the perspective of the companies, right? Now, why people would use it is that the pricing is amazing when you compare to buying an actual server and keeping it at your office, right? So it so happens that you'll only be paying for the stuff that you use. Now, maybe if you bought, let's say you're a new company and you require 10 servers, right? So you would have bought maybe 15 servers or so, and the other 5 servers are sitting there stagnant. It's not doing anything. You've paid for it, but you're not getting any financial return from it, right? To avoid these kinds of things, I just gave you one scenario, but to avoid all of these things, you should have exactly the amount of computing resources that you require, right? Maybe a little more to make sure that, if there is a lot more people that come in, it can be handled, of course. But at the end of the day, it's not like buying another different server, setting up terabytes worth of storage and all of that. No, right? So this huge advantage of paying as you go, you can pay by the second. Every second you use the platform, every second you use the computing power of maybe a system in AWS or Azure or something, you just pay for that. If you use it for 35 seconds, you'll only pay for 35 seconds of it usage, right? It's amazingly flexible in that regard. Now, whenever you're talking about speed, I'm sure you guys are curious, right? So if all of my data is sitting in a server, probably sitting in the other side of the world, will I have access to this data? Like, will it take a really long time? Will the servers be slow and all of that, right? Well, it so happens that today's world of cloud computing will literally, compete directly with the world of offline computing, right? If you take two computers and if you connect them directly with a high-speed network card, when it's wired, of course, there's a lot more things that you can do with it. Nowadays, even in cloud computing, right, most of it is wireless. You see the exact same performance. That is the magic that showcases that, hey, even with cloud computing, you can do a ton of things which you did with a wired connection at the same pace, right? That's an important thing which you guys have to know about, right? Now, I already told you about one or two fascinating examples if you guys were following very carefully there. But to talk to you about the popular applications of cloud computing itself, ladies and gentlemen, I want to hear from you now. You guys head to the chat box and you guys will tell me all the applications that you think, I already told you like 5 or 10 applications in the discussion, right? So you tell me one or two applications and then we're going to begin, okay? Come on guys, head to the chat box. I want this to be interactive. I want all of you all to give me an application. I'm sure you will know at least 5 or 10 applications at the top of your head itself, right? Right. While you guys go on to do that, to answer Raj Nandini's question again, what is the application of cloud computing? Well, that's exactly what we are going to discuss, Raj Nandini. I hope you're having fun. I hope all of you all are having fun on this particular session, right? Alright guys, perfect. Let us discuss the popular applications of cloud computing. I think literally the first one that comes into my mind has to be social media. Now you guys, right, so you guys have to tell me the social media that you used. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Spotify, Behance, Pinterest. I'm just trying to name all the logos there, right? Snapchat, WhatsApp, Tumblr, Skype, Vimeo, YouTube, Dropbox, and I don't know the last one, right? So all of these social media that you see use cloud computing in a way of their own. It may be a private cloud. So a private cloud is basically like an entire data center which is only meant to cater to the company, right? Now a lot of companies have this. Facebook has huge data centers. Instagram has huge data centers, right? Now whenever you send a snap to someone in Snapchat or something and you save it, you store it, or it vanishes in 15 seconds, it has to be there somewhere 15 seconds to showcase to that person, right? Again, that is stored temporarily in the cloud platform itself. And whenever you take a look at videos, again, we're using the storage that's provided by Google to upload our videos, to store it, to showcase it to all of you all, right? All of you all wonderful companies, wonderful audiences who are here. So that's social media. The next thing that you definitely have to take a look towards is activity management, right? So every time you open up a meeting app, maybe GoToMeeting, maybe Skype, maybe Zoom, maybe Google Meet, or whatever popular applications you use, right? Again, you can use cloud computing there too. You are using, in fact. And whenever you take notes in your mobile phone, right? I'm sure now I take a lot of notes in my mobile phone every day to make sure I'm taking a note of something important. So in that particular case, all of these are synced to all of your devices. If you just put a note in one device, every device in the home can see the same note, right? It's the fascinating example of the Apple iCloud, does this a lot. So that is again a very good example of usage of cloud computing by the company Apple and Google and a lot of others. GoToMeeting, Evernote, all of these guys, right? Perfect. Now, here is something which is absolutely fantastic: the world of online gaming, right? Now, when you take a look at cloud computing, usually people prefer playing, even if you're playing a multiplayer game, they usually connect to a small network. They play on that to make sure there's no lag, right? So, lag is basically the time difference that happens between you giving an input command and the difference of when it actually happens, right? Usually, if you're connected to someone sitting on the other side of the globe, this is in maybe like 500 milliseconds, 600 milliseconds, and all of that. And it is not fun if your character is late by 500 milliseconds, right? Now, for example, my stream itself is behind by 20 seconds. So, whenever I say something, it takes 20 extra seconds for you guys to see it from the moment I said it, right? So this, you cannot expect to play all the fancy games of today. Right now, as a gamer myself, I can tell you that it is fantastic to know that cloud computing platforms today have given us the ability to just connect to a web browser, open a web browser, start playing the most compute resource exhaustive games out there, right? Now, be it Cyberpunk, be it any other latest games of these kind, right, which takes up a lot of memory, requires a huge amount of graphical memory, processing memory, and all of that. You can just open up a browser, run all of these in your browser, where it is using these resources from a cloud computing platform, and go on to play, right? So I hope all the gamers in the house will be really happy knowing this. And all of this is live right now. You can go on to use it. PlayStation now is available worldwide. I think they are expanding to India soon or something like that. Google Stadia as well. The project Stadia is actually a brainchild of the very intelligent developers at Google. So in terms of gaming, again, the amount of applications you can have in cloud computing is probably a 1 hour video all on its own, right? Perfect. And then, of course, whenever you're taking a look at data storage, I think storing your files on Box, storing your files on Google Cloud, storing your cloud files on any cloud, right? It doesn't have to be Google always, it doesn't have to be Apple always. It is just that when you push your files to an entity which is accessible just by using the internet anywhere across the globe, you are using a cloud computing platform there. So if you just move a file around to your mobile or something, and if you physically lose your mobile, you don't have access to the data. But if it is backed up online and anywhere across the globe, maybe you're sitting in the USA and you move to the UK or something, you just connect to the internet, your data is right available there, right? Perfect. That's an amazing application of cloud computing. All right, come on, guys. I want to see more of your questions. Sandeep Yas says, which companies provides cloud computing? Well, Sandeep, there's a lot of different companies which provide a cloud computing platform. The highlight definitely is Amazon, who provide Amazon Web Services, which is AWS. Then you have people at Microsoft, who does similar things to AWS. Their platform is called as Azure, Microsoft Azure. And since both of these guys were doing it really well, people at Google decided, hey, let us also join in and let us also give a platform of our own. And their platform is called as GCP, or Google Cloud Platform, right? Perfect. All right, wonderful, guys. So let's go on to check what's next in the field of cloud computing, right? Well, here's another very important application which I have to talk to you about. Now, Google Colab is a fantastic place. It's a Jupyter notebook where you can run Python code online, right? So all you have to do is just type in the code that you require, line by line code, and then you just hit one play button, and you're using the resources of the Google Cloud Platform. You're using the computation power, RAM, CPU, all of that of a computer which is sitting again halfway across the world, and you're getting the results out of it. So you just have to have an internet connection, and you can write your Python code. It's not just Python, many different languages like this. You can have compilers online, right? So all of this is being done. It is possible also, right? Perfect. Now coming to a section where we have to talk about a career in cloud computing, right? As I've told you, a career in cloud computing is extremely popular these days. In the year 2021 itself, as I already told you the numbers, we're going to grow somewhere by 35% in a billion dollar industry, where we saw it being valued at 100 million, 200 billion, 300 billion, and all of that, right? So it's aggressively increasing. And whenever this market grows, it means more and more people are looking towards it, right? Every country across the globe will be looking at using cloud computing in one way or another, especially now, during COVID-19 or when the pandemic ends. That's the question I always get asked, saying, hey Anirudh, what happens to the domain like cloud computing after COVID-19 ends? Well, after it ends, everyone realizes the power of it, that they might have not used the platform before, and now everyone wants it, right? So this creates thousands and thousands of job openings. People who realize that they can move their entire cloud company to a cloud, maybe because they might not have the finances to actually maintain a server and run a server. Now every one of them is happy, everyone is jumping ship, everyone wants cloud computing in one way or another. So when you take a look at what happens to cloud computing after COVID, it is definitely a fantastic time to be invested into this domain right now, right? Now, when you take a look at March of 2020, right, the time when probably India went into lockdown, a lot of people in the world really just closed their countries out to visitors and said, hey, sorry, not allowing people anymore. In that particular case, that is when I think it started that people started saying, hey, it's a recession. The world of IT is going to take a huge hit. What a recession means, right? People lose their jobs, companies are not able to afford employees and all of that. People thought that was the case, and that did happen. A lot of people, even I know a lot of people who lost their jobs. But when you take a look at the general trends and when you try to say, hey, is this job recession proof or not? Well, yes, not a lot of people who were working in the cloud computing domain were actually relieved of their duties. Why would companies keep them, right? The first question is that. It's very important to understand that there is a constant requirement for these experts in the companies. Cloud computing people are required. So if you need more and more people, it isn't common sense to just let go of the people that you already have, right? It doesn't work. That was one of the reasons of this constant demand, knowing that everyone is going to use it. You'll have new clients day in and day out who use it, right? That is just what gave this a status called, I at least call it almost recession proof, or sort of an almost bulletproof kind of a thing, right? So people are working from around the world right now. Everyone's remote working, and the demand to cater to even these people who might not be using a lot of cloud computing services has increased as well, right? So even in the world of healthcare, right, cloud computing is just fascinating. You can sit maybe 1,500, 2,000 miles away from your doctor, and your doctor might be seeing your face, he's seeing your video feed, he can read your temperature, he can read your blood pressure. All of different things can be done just by having an internet connection, right? How amazing is this? And knowing that people are doing a lot more every single day in terms of research. Well, guys, everyone who have tuned in, I am sure you guys understand the high importance of what happens when you guys go on to invest in this particular domain, right? Perfect. Now, to add on to this, I always get a question saying, okay, so Anirudh, I understand cloud computing, I understand the demand. Now I want to learn more about it. Where can I go, right? One huge piece of advice that I have to give you guys is, whenever you're trying to learn anything new online, right? If you just go to Google, type in learn cloud computing, you'll be given millions of results in 1 second, right? Now there is so much information out there that for a beginner, if you are taking in more than what you can handle, well, it will not work, right? You guys might not be able to learn efficiently, learn properly, or even that it might get so difficult while learning that you will quit it in the middle of it as well, right? So that is not what's required. You have to make sure that whenever you have started to learn something, you have to finish it, or something like that, right? So to add on to all of this, it always adds value for you guys to talk to us experts, right? Now I am a subject matter expert in this domain, so I can give you a lot of views. I can tell you what's happening in the industry. I can whenever we are teaching these sessions, all the subject matter experts we have here at Great Learning, we ensure to know that, hey, we are giving you the best possible content out there, the best learning experience out there, compared to the competition, right? So we are trying to bring you and align you to the industry itself. That's an important thing. So make sure you guys are tuning into all of these live sessions that we do. It will add a lot of value to your own learning, right? Perfect. So to answer my question, so where do you guys go for more free content of on cloud computing or any other domain? First place is Great Learning Academy. Right now, Great Learning Academy, I already walked you through at the start of the session. This is a place where you have 200 plus courses taught in multiple languages. Now, for the people who keep saying make courses in Hindi, well, we do have courses in Hindi as well. All of it is completely free. You can sign up for free, you can use it for free, learn it, get a certificate of completion absolutely free of cost as well. So ladies and gentlemen, head on to Great Learning Academy and make sure you check it out. The next place where you can get free content is definitely the Great Learning YouTube channel. The Great Learning YouTube channel is an amazing place, as you guys, right? So you guys, your audience are what makes the channel so amazing. So I'm sure a lot of you all had a lot to take away from this session. So do take a second to like the video, guys, and of course hit that subscribe button as well. It is really important for us, for you guys to subscribe to the video, because if you subscribe, if you like the video, we will know that we have to bring more content out to you guys. So to support the channel, make sure you guys are liking and subscribing. Perfect. Now the third most important place where you can get more content on cloud computing is definitely Great Learning blogs. Now I'm sure there's a lot of you who love reading as well. Right now I'm a person who fascinates reading, who's fascinated by reading online blogs and all of that. So you do have blogs written by experts again here at Great Learning that you guys can read a lot of different things. It's not only on cloud computing, it's a lot of different domains that you guys can check out, right? Perfect. Now to talk about the last thing, this is what I was telling you guys at the start of the session. A very important part is that, see, all of these free content that will definitely get you ahead of the game, that will get you started, that will take you to an intermediate level and all of that. But it so happens that if you guys are looking for mastery, right, if you guys want to become an expert, you want to become a cloud architect, or you are a beginner completely in college, or you just graduated college or something, and you want something, comprehensive enough to teach you, to take you from a beginner all the way to an expert, right? So I highly suggest you guys invest in these programs that we have here at Great Learning, the PG programs and specialization programs, especially in the domain of cloud computing, right? We have an amazing program here, the post-graduation program in cloud computing. This is the India's first mentorship-driven program here. It's a 6 months course. You have to do online. We have a lot of procedures and all that. Let me walk you through this, because I think this will add a lot of value to your learning, right? First of all, ladies and gentlemen, you definitely have to take a look at the advantages of why you should even prefer having a PGP in cloud computing, right? Well, you get to learn 90 plus cloud services, be it in AWS, be it in Azure, be it in GCP, learning DevOps. You will be working on 15 plus hands-on in their environments, industry relevant projects and all of that, right? So you'll get industry exposure. You will have personalized mentorship. You'll have guidance, with leaders, from leaders who are very well known in their own industry, their own experience and all of that. You get 100 plus hours of instructional content. You have live sessions where you can clear all your doubts. So at the end of the day, see, if I go on to keep telling you the advantages or why you should prefer it, it is just another thing on its own. There are so many different advantages. You can read all of this in detail when you head to greatlearning.in, and if you just click on the PG program, that's click on explore programs, click on cloud computing and this particular course here, right? So when you're taking a look at this entire program, you have numerous advantages. You're going to get a certificate that looks like this at the end of the day from Great Lakes Executive Learning. And the first thing that you guys should always look towards is an amazingly well built curriculum. Right now, this curriculum is very comprehensive. 90 plus services are covered here. You'll get a solid foundation. In fact, you go right from having an amazing foundation to getting a beautiful building done as well, right? At the end of the day, you will see what are the modules that you're going to be taking a look at, everything that you will learn in those modules, quizzes, projects. You can find fantastic details. Right now, you'll of course begin by understanding the foundations, then you'll take a look at specializing in AWS, and if you're a person who wants to understand Azure as well. Right now, if you usually work very deeply in one of these platforms, moving to the other is not that difficult, but you're going to require knowledge on that. So it's not like only AWS is taught or only Azure is taught, right? We're teaching you here AWS, Azure, and of course even GCP as well. And at the end of it, once you've learned everything, it becomes important that you showcase your skill to solve a real world problem. That is where your capstone project comes into hand. You will use this particular project to say, hey, here is a problem that I solved. When you look at it, guys, the entire aspect, the entire thing about cloud computing itself is that we are trying to solve problems across the globe. So you solving an actual industry level problem and saying, hey, I learned this using the PG program of Great Learning, and I solved this particular problem, is definitely something you guys should be proud of, right? So you'll be learning a lot of different languages and tools here, guys: Python, Docker, Cassandra, Hadoop, Hive, Terraform, and a lot more, right? As you can take a look at it, the more I keep scrolling, you get to realize it just adds more and more value. Right now, here are some of the capstone projects where you'll be building real world applications. You'll be getting guidance from the industry experts themselves, right? So you have amazing faculties, amazing mentors. Right now, all of these people are very well known in their domains. They are highly experienced and they are at the top of their fields, right? So they know what it is to teach you guys, to mentor you guys, and all of that. Right now, again, you get to learn and understand about the Great Learning advantage. You get to see testimonies from our learners, so what our learners has to say about this program, the reviews and everything else. And of course, guys, this is a postgraduate program which is a 6-month course that's going to take you from a beginner to going to be an expert. So it definitely has some admission criteria and fees, as you can see on your screen, and you will get to see all the features that are provided. This is definitely a good investment for your money, and it has an admission process as well, guys. So as you can see, it has an application process where you have to fill an application form. You'll have an interview later. It's a screening call by the admission director's office. At the end of the day, you will join the program. An offer letter will be given to you for, of course, all the few candidates. All the seats are again limited for this particular program, and there's a deadline for the application as well. So make sure that you guys are taking a look at it, applying. Talk to our experts. I'm sure they will guide you on on all the questions that you might have answered, right? So we have an FAQ sections, the related programs, and of course anything in any query, you can always reach out to all the people at Great Learning. And guys, all of us here are trying to find ways to make sure we can have the most impact on your learning, to provide the best possible content possible, right? Guys, with this you have reached the end of the session. All of you all, as always, you are a fantastic audience. It is my pleasure to be teaching all of you all. So depending on what it is you want, a quick head start, a free start into the domain, or if you want complete specialization in the cloud computing domain, right? So I've guided you on both ways. I hope this session was very knowledgeable, very helpful for all of you all. Make sure you guys are staying safe from the ongoing pandemic. Make sure you guys are checking out Great Learning Academy. Subscribe to the Great Learning YouTube channel. And guys, it'll always add a lot of value if you guys take a second to like the video for us and show us your support as well, right? So with this video, we covered the entirety of cloud computing. We spoke about the introduction, we spoke about what it is, real life use cases, we spoke about the models, we spoke about the popular applications, we spoke about why cloud computing was required. So you went from maybe not knowing a lot in terms of cloud computing all the way to getting a quick head start in this domain, right? So make sure you build upon this. Make sure you are checking out all the cloud computing content we have here on the Great Learning YouTube channel as well, right, guys? With that, thank you so much. I hope I answered all of your questions in the chat box. As always, keep putting down your questions. We can always answer them. Make sure you tuning in to the live sessions we have here at Great Learning, right? Fantastic, guys. Take care, stay safe. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.